Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
You set us up on this one because this one's kind of it's kind of a large, maybe, rabbit hole.
It's larger than you might think.
It could be.
Yeah. It is, it might be an underwater or possibly
Subterranean,
and also maybe hollow earth rabbit hole.
Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Hollow
Definitely
Earth.
underwater. I'm talking about this whole Greenland thing. So
Why is Trump so
why is he
intense?
so gung-ho about Greenland? So this may be, some might consider this far-fetched, but there's nothing far-fetched to us, is there?
If you think things are far-fetched, you're probably not going to listen to our show.
It's probably not the right show. Well, you know how I feel about Antarctica.
Yes.
And I have fantasies of going there one day and exploring because I don't think we should be locked out of that place.
No.
No. Like,
why should we be locked out of any place?
how come every country in the world agreed to not let anybody go there? That sounds fishy to me.
That's totally fishy.
It's super
Not
fishy.
one country said, no, you know what? I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, everybody agreed on that. I don't know. They don't really agree on much other stuff. So
That's weird.
It's weird. Anyway, it was recently brought to my attention that remember Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yes.
She was really good
Ghislaine.
friend. Ghislaine, if you don't want to pronounce it the French way. She was really buddies or whatever with that guy that killed himself with a paper sheet in prison while the guards fell asleep and turned off all the cameras.
Yes.
That guy.
Yes. Which was very curious.
Yeah. And what else is curious is that she had submarines, that she used to drive a submarine.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. That doesn't seem like a normal activity.
Yeah. It's not like a Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah. Like most people don't just have a submarine that they cruise around in.
Dude, I don't even want to take my sub out because that sounds kind of sketchy.
So, we did a couple episodes on these topics. We did our Antarctica episode, which has been very popular, actually. And
over almost like 1,400 people have watched it now.
I know. It's a good one. And then we also had a good episode on submarines. Remember that one? Rosie the Riveter and her yellow submarine?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think there was another episode where we talked about submarines. But I've always thought it was weird that some of these people have submarines because I always thought that was sort of like a military thing. Like if you were in the Navy, possibly you might get stationed on a submarine or something. And
yeah.
Sometimes they have to have submarines that go places, supposedly.
It's not like a pickup truck.
It's not like, yeah. And then what do you do when it's like old? You want to sell it? Does somebody buy a used one?
What do you lease it?
Yeah.
And then it's like trading up.
I'm trading up because didn't we hear that Jeff Bezos was bugged because, or was it?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So what happened is Jeff Bezos, to his horror, found out that Tiger Woods' submarine was 7 feet longer.
Oh, we can't.
And that was back in 2012 when I saw that because I was working on Wall Street and everybody's obsessed with money. And so that story was floating around. And what that makes me think is that these the elites, they have had these underwater technologies for a while now.
Yeah.
And they've been using submarines for a while, which lends to our thesis for this episode in that the elites may be accessing lands that we're not told about through subterranean and underwater methods.
Right. So I guess Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine.
Yeah. She I think she started this NGO or nonprofit, and when I hear those words, I get suspicious also, because
BINGO.
They always seem to go hand in hand with money washing.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I don't trust any NGOs.
They're doing a lot of washing of money.
I watched this Sean Penn movie called The Gunman. Have you ever seen The Gunman?
No.
And of course, it's
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. He's a rogue CIA. That's like the common trope,
right?
But his girlfriend is like in some third world hellhole, and she works for an NGO.
Oh.
And she's giving food and medicine, but actually that's probably revealing the method. What they're probably doing is they have a BSL-4 lab and they shoot Ebola into Kenyans.
Into these poor unsuspecting people. Yeah, totally.
That's what NGOs do.
So anyway, she had this one that was like, I think it was called Terramar. And did you know that there's some kind of thing where
she had her own NGO?
Yeah, and it was supposedly to protect and preserve like water, ocean type stuff. But it sounds fishy to me. It sounds like a cover story for
no pun intended.
For her submarine driving. And I guess there's like land under the ocean or parts of the ocean that's not really like governed by any particular country. So it's just sort of like
international waters.
Yeah, it's just sort of like no man's land or water. It's just out there like a free for all. And I don't know, my friend was telling me that they're basically trying to say that you could be a citizen of this area, I guess.
So you can live in international waters and like call that your home?
Yeah, or like it just all sounds very fishy. Like they're somehow accessing places that they don't want us to know about under the water or maybe inside the earth. I don't know.
So maybe they're saying, oh no, I'm a citizen of like Atlantis, which is like an underwater city.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
That's what my passport says.
Or anybody could be there. And I guess, did you see that new remake of Godzilla?
No.
Did you ever see that? It was fairly recent. They were showing like high-speed trains that went under the water that would go from China to Florida really fast. So is it possible that they could have been...
They're revealing the
method to us? And maybe there really are like some kind of tunnels and high-speed ways of transportation that we don't know about that are maybe under water.
That the elites are using already?
So I started thinking... what if this whole like big push by Trump to like take over Greenland is some kind of gateway to Antarctica, and he knows that and he wants to have power over it.
Totally. I think that's what's going on because there's more than meets the eye with Greenland. And what we are kind of talking about is, what if Greenland isn't situated the way that the map tells us it's situated?
Yeah.
And maybe there can be tunnel and submarine access between Greenland and Antarctica.
Right. So, I don't feel like I'm spinning on a ball.
Yep.
And I think we need to do another episode on that because I read a really hilarious article today that I sent you. I don't know if you had a chance to read it.
No.
And it was so funny. The very first lines of the article were saying, if you don't feel like can you trust your instincts if you don't feel like you're spinning, should you really trust them? This is what it says. Do you trust your instincts? maybe you shouldn't. It seems that ancient Greeks and the old church doctrines were correct because it sure feels as if we're not moving, but we're actually in wild, constant motion. How fast are we spinning and why don't we feel it? And then it goes on with all these outrageous stories. So they're basically just telling you, don't trust your instincts. Don't, because they're probably wrong.
You are spinning.
You are. And it's like, remember during like cooties and stuff, and they had articles that came out basically saying don't trust your instincts, and you don't question anything, and it said don't go down rabbit holes.
Don't do your own research.
Don't do your own research.
Just do what we're telling you to do.
Yeah.
Or no, the one was remember it was the guy from CNN, and they were talking about the Epstein files that got released. And he's like, we are professionals, so we can look at these things. Yeah. You don't look at these.
You shouldn't look.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Don't investigate. Don't do any research.
Let me do it, and then I'll tell you what it is.
I'll tell you what to think.
And I'll tell you what to think. Yeah, I'm in the media.
Anyway, you when you and I were talking about this topic, you were saying, like, is it possible the maps aren't correct? And I said, yeah, I think absolutely. Like, how is it possible that this guy, Christopher Columbus, was he the one that made the map when he came over in 1492? They made these maps that long ago, and that don't really change that much. Like, how are you able to make a map so correctly without being, I don't know, I feel like you'd have to be like so far away from it. You know what I mean? You
can't just circumnavigate the globe on a boat and accurately map.
Draw. Yeah. So I'm wondering if the maps, the way that they've been taught to us, aren't even really accurate, and not the way the land actually is. And if that's the case, which it very well may be,
Epiphany.
Oh my God, what?
Epiphany. Okay, so Antarctica has been strictly off limits.
Right.
So plebs like you and me can't go there.
Right.
Maybe the reason they're procuring Greenland is because they want it to be like Antarctica. No plebs allowed.
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of probably exterminate all the people here. All the Greenlandians, they're just going to get displaced or exterminated.
Right.
Why? What if Antarctica is a gateway to these other lands that we've been talking about?
Totally.
But what if Greenland, they're about to do a big project and it's going to give access to new lands? They're going to build some tunnel and submarine route that's going to give them access to new lands. And what if the Arctic Circle isn't laid out the way that we're told in depictions?
Well, the circle, I think, is the circle around the continents that we know. And I think that that's Antarctica. I don't think Antarctica is some continent down by Australia, the way they want us to think. I think that it's around us, and Greenland there's some kind of access from Greenland to Antarctica and beyond. And because why would they be showing Antarctica? I saw something about this where they were showing Greenland being like sort of close to Antarctica, and that's not the way that we've been taught.
According to the map that we've been taught, they're as far away from each other as can be.
Yeah.
One of them's at almost the North Pole, and the other one's at the South Pole. So they're polar opposites, literally.
Yeah. If that's really the case.
It might be that they're neighbors, and that actually, because remember the UN seal.
Yeah.
What's on the UN seal?
The UN seal. Well, it looks more like what the flat Earth map would look like.
Where else did we see another?
We've seen.
There was another image that you sent me just the other day. It was Trump talking at some other meeting, and they had a picture, and it was a.
Oh yeah.
What was he at?
It was the peace. It was the Board of Peace.
The Board of Peace.
Symbol,
yeah.
And it looked like that too.
Because it's a two-dimensional depiction of the Earth,
right.
But there's wreaths, olive wreaths that kind of go around the outside of it.
Yeah.
And what we're thinking is that might be them revealing the method. Mm-hmm. That might be them saying, look how stupid these people are. They don't even realize that that's actual land masses that those represent.
Yeah, look how dumb they are. They don't even know where they are. They're trapped in a cage. And
those land masses that they don't tell us about, what if they're huge?
Yeah.
What if it's like more than continents, like bigger than continents?
Bigger than the United States, bigger than Russia, bigger than South America. So
like the way that the olive reeds look like there's like 2 or 3 of them that are so long that they go from the North Pole to the South Pole in terms of geographical region. So that means there could be huge lands that they're not telling us about, and the elites are accessing them. Why would they not want us to go to them? Is because I think the elites want us exterminated. Mm-hmm. So they want us corralled more and more into densely populated urban centers so they can just spray crap on us and kill us and give us bugs to eat.
And possibly... So there might be tunnels from Greenland to Antarctica that we don't know about.
This is what I'm thinking. Because remember, Anthony Fauci said, if we keep letting these people talk, you can kiss civilization bye-bye.
Right.
But I have a conspiracy theory right now.
Okay.
I think the reason that Trump is so gung-ho about procuring Greenland is because they have plans for a big project that will connect Greenland to these outer lands.
That only they'll be able to go to.
They'll only be able to go to. So they want Greenland to be their control.
Right.
Because now, I could probably go to Greenland.
Yeah.
I could get on a plane and go.
Yeah, you could go there. Totally. So I don't
know if I really want to. But
I'm thinking that Greenland might have access to Antarctica that most people haven't known about, and like maybe because the world is getting smaller in effect because people know more now, so there's more information out there, and it's easier to travel and stuff like that, so it feels like the world is smaller. I feel like maybe there's information coming out where people are going to start to find out about like this access or gateway from Greenland to Antarctica, and they don't want us to know about that because they're going to use it for themselves to access.
And why is it called Greenland when they keep telling us it's covered with ice?
Well, that was the next thing I wanted to talk about, because exactly, like, why is it called Greenland? But it's the icy one, which would make it more similar to what they tell us Antarctica is all about, right?
And what if it's called Greenland, but they keep telling us it's just a bunch of ice because actually it's a verdant, green, beautiful place.
Yeah.
And that would contradict the idea that when you get up high in the north part of the earth, it's cold. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's not.
No.
If we're on a flat earth and the dimensions of our earth and the dynamics of our earth are completely different than what they're telling us, maybe it is green.
Yeah, well, it's funny because even that article that I just mentioned, that I referenced a couple minutes ago, like down lower in the article, the guy was saying how some of the planets, they slow down in the warmer months, like in March and April. And I'm thinking, wait a second, those months aren't warmer in every part of the world at the same time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Australia, you're having a different season than what we're having.
That's fall.
So for him to just make this like generalization about March being the warmer month and causing the planets to like rotate at a different speed doesn't really make any sense.
But the people swallow it because people drink science Kool-Aid and they just go,
it's so contradictory,
and then people drink science Kool-Aid and they think they're smart.
Yeah.
And they go, look at what I know.
Well, then they
regurgitate it.
They throw out all these big numbers and huge, examples and like 200 million year old animals, and it's really hard for people to argue that stuff.
You see that star? That star right there is 10,000 light years away.
He was I think we have to do a whole episode on that article because it's so full of like ridiculousness.
Kool-Aid?
Yeah, he talks about traveling at light year speed, and anyway, back to this topic. I think there's something going on with Greenland that's more than just Trump wanting to take over. I think there's some hidden knowledge there that we don't know about.
Yeah, because what's the reason that they're telling us that to placate the blue pill? They're going, well, we don't have control of it, and it's in our hemisphere, so it's the Monroe Doctrine. We need to secure our hemisphere.
Yeah, because China and Russia might come through Greenland to come attack us.
That's right. So we got that. But that sounds like fear porn, and that sounds like just placating. Mm-hmm. The real reason that Trump is so adamant about it is probably because of some type of access to these new lands that they want to create. And maybe Greenland is conducive for that. Maybe it's a good place for the elites to come and have a big base where they can come and land there and redoubts, and then they can take from there, they can park their submarine there and go to the new lands.
Yeah, or even have an airport maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they have a big base with an airport and like luxury hotels that you can stay in, get ready, and then you just take your little submarine ride. You have your submarine parked there. You take your little sub ride over to the new lands.
Yeah, because like if it takes us, like if you're on the East Coast and you want to fly to Europe, it's like like a 5-hour flight approximately. Mm-hmm. So from the West Coast, it's like, 10 to 14 hours to go overseas that way. So if you're going to go into some other lands into an area that we don't even know, it's probably going to take you at least 5 hours from like the outskirts of what we know, maybe 10. So to have an airport handy, like there, like in Antarctica or Greenland, it's handy. It's more convenient.
That reminds me of another thing. So one of my buddies, who's kind of in the Trump cult, but I respect his takes, he said there's been a base in Antarctica for a long time. It's a secret military post. And what he said is the word around the campfire is they do interdimensional travel. It's like a portal. Oh. And he said it's because geographically that area is a portal. So it's like maybe Greenland has a portal. Maybe they've discovered a portal.
Maybe.
Because I'm starting to think that interdimensional travel might be the new thing with the elites. Because remember CERN?
Yeah.
And CERN, they're like, well, our mission here at CERN is to open up portals to other dimensions to let demons come in.
That's a good idea.
It's like, well, that's a worthwhile mission.
Yeah, I'm sure our tax dollars are paying for that.
Oh, totally. We fund CERN. I'd be curious to see how much money do we fund CERN out of our taxpayer dollars here in America.
Probably a lot.
But so that might be another conspiracy theory. That reason maybe Greenland has interdimensional gateways out there.
Maybe. And
these interdimensional gateways take us to other lands. Because the Earth as we know it and what we're allowed to go to has gotten so densely populated that maybe they're sick of it, and they need to have these redoubts. And the other thing too that might play into this is, what were you the one telling me that 1933? Oh, it was one of these videos. It was, Mod Tricka. Remember I told you about Mod Tricka? He's the guy that shows all the videos, and it'd be like, what are those weird clouds?
Oh, yeah.
And, it'll just be like, what's the chicken that they're making? Like he did a whole thing on like them making like lab grown chicken. So he was talking about all this other stuff too, and he was talking about how they do have interdimensional travel. That's part of their plan. They want to be able to travel interdimensionally because this Earth has become
spoiled for them, probably.
Yeah.
Because of all of us useless eaters.
We're all in the way.
Yeah.
We're all in the way.
But you know what? Don't you think that there might be a lot of useless eaters in those other places too? They just don't know them, or
maybe that's why they want Greenland and Antarctica off limits, is because they want to have exclusive access to these, whether it's other lands or other dimensions. They have some place where they can go and they don't have to be encumbered by all of us plebs.
Totally.
Oh, I know what it was. So the Mod Trick video, this guy was going through the store and he was pointing out all these just regular signs for products, and he was talking about how they're cult messaging.
Oh, yeah.
But he was saying, look at all of these mentions of 33, 33, 33. And he said, according to the signs that the Culture Club is putting out, they have something big planned for 2033.
Oh.
They want to exterminate us all in that year.
Wow.
Everyone dies in 2033. That's the new lesson.
Interesting.
So maybe when everyone dies in 2033, that's only 7 years from now. So maybe what's going on is all the elites are getting their redoubts ready.
So they're going to have like some big fumigation,
you know
extermination.
What I think? Have you ever
fumigate
heard
us all like roaches.
Yep, they totally are. You know what I heard? They have these weapons that can exterminate all humans but leave all of the infrastructure intact. Have you ever heard of these weapons? I think it's called a hydrogen bomb.
Oh.
Yeah. And they tested them in the 50s and they work.
Wow.
And what it does is it doesn't affect buildings or trees. It'll just kill humans.
How convenient for the elites.
That's what they love.
Uh-huh.
So they'll use that.
So they would have to hop on their submarines and scoot on out of here while that's happening, and then they could come back.
And there might be like a fallout time where they have to stay away for a while. But maybe that's why they have micromanagers out on the islands going, excuse me, those species are invasive. Because I'm thinking they're getting the Earth primed and ready for the mass culling.
The mass culling.
Remember that chick?
Yeah.
That was on... What was she on?
She
was with Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah.
On that conspiracy show in 2009.
Yeah.
And I think her name was Rima.
Yeah.
Rima?
Yeah.
And she left the country. Now, she could be controlled opposition and she could be totally fake, or she could be real. But according to what she said, she left the country because she's terrified of America. But she was getting her hair done, and one of her friends was an elite, and she was definitely a household name. And she said, oh, well, they're getting ready for the culling, darling. Mm-hmm. And she goes, the culling? What do you mean by that? And she goes, the useless eaters, darling. They're going to be culled here very, very soon. So I think that might be another aspect that plays into this Greenland story.
I wouldn't be surprised. So that took a very dark turn. We're all going to be exterminated in 6 years, 7 years.
I think that's the plan. But what do we always say? Satan's plans, what happens?
They always get thwarted.
They get thwarted.
Yeah.
So that's probably the plan. But we already know that, they had Agenda 2021. It was supposed to be by then.
And we helped to thwart that
we
plan.
Thwarted that.
Didn't we? By doing our protests and our refusal to comply.
And I believe we were effective.
I do too.
I believe that, when I first started going out there and protesting, I'm going to toot my own horn here for a sec.
I'm going to toot it for you too.
I was the only one out there, and people were looking at me like I'm crazy. My very first sign was in, I think it was like June of 2020. So COVID was just kind of getting going. Mm-hmm. And I said, I got to do something because I don't want these shots to be imposed on my daughter. So I went out on the street and my first sign said, COVID is a hoax. That's all it said. And people were looking at me like I was crazy.
I bet.
But over the next few years, it became a movement.
Totally.
And I believe I was on the front lines of that movement. And 50 million, maybe 75 million people in America did not take the shots.
No.
And I don't think that would have happened unless somebody stood up and rose their voice.
Yeah.
And then other people see that you're raising your voice and that inspires them to do it too. And that's the nature of our podcast.
Totally. And that's where we met.
That's where we met.
At that protest that you started, basically.
Because you got red pilled.
Yeah.
From the Porge Floyd.
Yeah, from that and from
Cooties.
Yeah.
So you came out and started talking, but what I'm saying is, don't think that your voice doesn't have power.
No. Well, that's why they want to silence our voices.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want our podcast to get out. They don't want our words to get out. They don't want us to have free speech because it does have power. Yeah.
Like you might think, well,
I'm not making a difference.
I'm just a small person, but your voice makes a big difference and your courage is contagious.
Your voice and your actions, and even though you might feel like, oh, it's just one person doing this, then, if a couple more people see you and they start doing it, it's like a snowball. It just kind of builds and it does have an impact.
You ever heard that term self-censor?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are politically correct because it's just... they've been conditioned to just not take any chances with getting canceled.
Right.
If you do that, they will cull us by 2033.
Right.
If you just keep your mouth shut because you don't want to get canceled and you self-censor because it's too much of a pain in the booty wang.
We don't self-censor, and we probably say things that make some people mad. And maybe even some of our listeners don't like everything we say all the time. But You know what? I don't agree with you on every single thing and vice versa. But I think that I can listen to somebody's opinion. And I think our listeners are probably like this too, where they can listen to what we have to say. And, maybe we're planting seeds. And like we talked about before, not everybody's ready to receive the same message at the same time, but when you hear it, you might think about it, and then it's kind of like gathering clues for to solve a mystery. Like sometimes you hear one little thing and it doesn't really register, but then maybe a few weeks or a few months or several months down the road, you hear something else that just kind of clicks and you remember that thing that you heard like all those months ago, and suddenly it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's all we're really doing too, because we're kind of like gathering clues in this world and in this life, to try to make sense of like what might be going on out there.
Yeah, and we don't come off like we're telling you. We just are asking questions. The other thing that I was just thinking you made me think of is, remember when you came down to the protest and you started talking? Well, you weren't able to talk freely with even your family at that time or your friends.
Yeah.
And so when you finally had somebody who was going, yeah, totally. Oh, dude, totally.
Yeah.
It felt so good.
It was good. It was therapeutic.
And you're able to sit there and really talk about what you really feel.
Yeah.
That's what being bold and courageous and talking does, is it allows other people to feel bold and to come and say, you know what? I have not been saying anything, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, some people might not be big talkers or they don't want to say much, but when they can meet somebody else or hear another voice that like registers with them, then I think it's comforting and therapeutic. And then it inspires you to talk about it too.
Because a lot of people are just going to swallow the mainstream narrative out of fear of being ostracized. But a lot of people are going to hear the mainstream narratives and they're just going to go, that doesn't sit right with me. And they might not act on it, but just kind of have that in their heart, just like, this doesn't sit right with me. But then when you articulate it out loud, they get the courage to say, I agree with that.
Bingo. Yeah. I mean, basically...
So that's the white pill.
That's the white pill. Basically, we've kind of figured out like that they've lied about so much since, our whole lives, that they can't be trusted. We don't really believe anything they say at this point. So even though they might be telling us some truths, because they're like the mainstream narrative is the main controlled opposition. So they may be telling us some truths, but then there's like
that's the deceptive thing about it.
Yeah, there's some big lies buried into the truths.
It's like Satan knows the Bible, and he'll use the Bible against weak Christians.
Yeah.
And turn them away.
Have you heard some of these controlled opposition people who like to quote the Bible? And,
totally.
Yeah, and then they kind of throw that back at the people that they don't agree with and basically kind of accuse them of not being, a Christian or whatever, and they have some Bible verse that they use, but they're using it like in a way that isn't accurate, or in a way that they sort of like
they're manipulating it.
They manipulate it. Yes.
And that's what they do. Like, for instance, one of the big manipulations that the wolves in sheep's clothing do with the Bible is they say, no. The Bible says that we have to support Israel.
Right.
Otherwise, we're going to bring about the book of Revelation. If
Yeah.
we stop supporting them, that's the book of Revelation unfolding right there. We have to fund them.
Yeah.
That's manipulating what the Bible says, which, I could get into some of the specifics, but it's a misinterpretation of what's actually in the Bible. And that's kind of the way the controlled opposition works. They do a misrepresentation of facts.
Exactly.
That exist.
They do one of their favorite words that they like to accuse like people like us of doing, which is misinformation.
Misinformation.
I like to be called misinformation.
I prefer Mr. Information. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's what they do. And then saying misinformation is kind of like saying, oh my God, you're racist and homophobic.
Yeah.
Because now suddenly you're discredited.
Yeah, and you're crazy.
You're crazy.
We're going to just say you're crazy.
That's what Candace said.
That covers all of it.
Candace
basically.
said that to her audience. She's like, you guys are crazy.
And if you're crazy, you can't be believed or trusted.
Nothing you say has merit.
No.
I said you're crazy.
So there
and
it is.
Kanye said he likes the way I think, and you're crazy. So, and people probably hear that and go, well, I guess I can't argue with that.
Crazy.
I can't argue with that logic.
Oh my gosh.
So the white bill is interesting for this one about Greenland.
Yeah.
And about what they're telling us about the dynamics of our Earth. Raise your voice, even if you're not sure, because none of us are sure.
No.
We've been lied to, but raise your voice because other people might say, you know what? Something doesn't sit right with me, and you've given me the courage to raise my voice too.
I mean, we're saying stuff that sounds probably totally crazy to some people, but, I think stuff from a long time ago probably sounded really crazy.
Dude, when I first started going on the corner, everyone thought that I was crazy. Like, not even joking. They're like, you're crazy. Because I was saying cooties is a hoax. Now, I think a lot of people can agree that cooties is a hoax. It's not that outlandish to say that cooties was completely fabricated and a complete conspiracy. But back then, that was like, you were crazy for saying that.
Right.
So that's kind of a way that the Overton window shifts. In that conspiracy theories become more acceptable.
Yeah.
So that's another, like, the Overton window is kind of a double-edged sword, because it can be that, remember the dad and his son, you went up and you said, here, let me show you all the list of side effects in the cooties.
Yeah, in the cooties shot.
He went, wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Come on, son, let's go get the cooties. Now, let's go get the cootie shot. Now, that guy, when he's in, we use this example, he's in Chick-fil-A, and that 6'3", 250-pound dude who thinks he's a woman now, he's ordering food ahead of him. And he goes, I'll have the original chicken sandwich, no pickles. And the guy goes, yes, sir. No, it's ma'am. Excuse me, it's ma'am. And so the dad is teaching his son. He's going, you see that, son? That guy is acceptable.
Yeah.
That's one adverse thing about the Overton window. But the Overton window can shift in a good way, in which saying these things about Greenland and Antarctica might become more normalized.
More mainstream.
It might become more mainstream. I hate that word, but it's kind of, the mainstream is just kind of collectively agreed upon.
Right. So, like I don't feel like I'm spinning on a ball, so I don't feel like the maps of the world, I guess, that they show us are accurate. So, I mean, like the maps of the universe. So maybe the maps of the world and the maps of like all the countries and continents aren't accurate either. Maybe all of them are not as they've taught us, and there's something else out there.
I watched another movie. I watched this movie called Outland last night.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's got Sean Connery, who I love.
I like him.
Love Sean. And it was made in 1981.
Wow.
And he's a sheriff or a ranger or whatever. He's a cop. And he's stationed on this moon off of Jupiter.
Oh, wow.
And what are they doing? They're mining for ore. And that was the same thing like in Blade Runner, where the clones were mining for ore on some outpost in space. Now, I always think that Hollywood was revealing the method.
Yeah.
So maybe Greenland might be like what they use planets or moons as a metaphor for.
Right.
And they're going to be using Greenland to go send a bunch of clones up there to mine for some ore. Because I've heard them mentioning Trump saying rare earth minerals.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a lot of like really valuable minerals and resources there.
So that could be another angle with Greenland. It has nothing to do with our sovereignty and our safety and the Monroe Doctrine.
No, I don't think so.
They've got precious ore that they want to mine, and they're going to send clones up there to mine it.
That seems very plausible.
That could be part and parcel of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think that Greenland is like an area that we need to be taking over for our safety, or that it's a hostile, like,
Why
isn't
don't we
it
take
owned
over
by the Dutch? I mean, are they hostile people?
No. Well, why don't we first take over like San Francisco and Minneapolis?
I think that's a great idea.
We should take those over.
Yeah, and New York.
New York, those should be America.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be socialist hell on earth.
Exactly.
So maybe we should start with our own like country.
Yeah.
But Trump's already like, no, we're gonna go down to Venezuela and we're gonna tell the leader there that we're gonna kidnap you and your wife.
And then you're gonna show up in all the pictures afterwards in various different outfits and smile for the camera.
There's gonna be some weird stuff going on with you after you get arrested, but
I'll put you up at Mar-a-Lago and you'll have a nice big room with a jacuzzi tub.
Yeah, Melania will bring some of her sex trafficked brothers and sisters from Ukraine. You guys will have a good time. But then now it's like, no, Greenland. Yeah, we're gonna have to take that over because China and Russia could get to it. But why do we got to be focusing on that?
I don't think so.
We have so many pressing problems here. Our infrastructure is falling apart.
We've got potholes in our streets.
Potholes in the streets. We've got
just
rapists.
in our neighborhood.
I mean, we've got gnarly rapists and third world barbarians taking over.
I love the third world barbarians.
They totally are. They're barbarians, dude. And they're barbarians. Why are they barbarians? They don't know how to live in the first world.
No.
They don't have our sensibilities.
Right.
So they come here and they just go, and then they go, sir, why did you rape that girl? Well, she was wearing a miniskirt.
I had a cultural emergency.
I had they call that a sexual emergency. I had to take care of something really quick. Well, so that we have problems here, Trump.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Trump is a pawn of the culture club, and this second term has been all about him carrying out the agenda of the culture club. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Placate his base while you really, with your other hand, take care of the culture club agenda.
And so many of his base are still so on board with, like, they refuse to see any wrongdoings. Like, they refuse to look at anything he's doing as even remotely suspicious.
Totally. Like, let's say you go up to them and you start kind of planting the seeds of doubt like we are about his intentions in Greenland.
And
they'll be like, no, it's Monroe Doctrine. You don't understand. And then they get mad and they start telling you his Kool-Aid aggressively.
Yeah, exactly. They get really bugged too. Like, I mean, he's obviously bought and paid for by Israel, which is weird. But you can't point that out either.
Well, one of these episodes coming up, we're going to have to do a refresher on David Goldberg or Goldfink.
Oh, yeah.
Because we need to just unpack that whole thing.
Right.
Because, that talks about Trump being in bed with that country from 1948.
Well, also, I just heard about some recent Epstein files that were released that had witness testimony that was pretty
damning
to Trump.
So why don't we have an episode coming up where we talk about what we'll do is it'll be really tough for Trump supporters to listen to, but we're gonna play devil's advocate and say, what if Trump is totally a bad guy?
Because we did the other way a few weeks ago. What if he's the dark horse? Yeah.
We did
that.
Because that's our slogan.
Well,
keep an open mind.
We keep an open mind, and we are open to changing our minds too.
If Trump is a hero and he's a dark horse, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. Mm-hmm. But I also want to be the first one to say I kind of knew it.
Right.
I was right.
Oh my gosh. Well, the other thing that I think could be a white pill is that, how I have this affinity for the idea of Antarctica.
You want to go there?
So this to me sounds like maybe the secrets to that land are going to be exposed soon, which I find very exciting.
I can't help but feel in my gut that we're coming into a big reveal. Yeah. And all of these lies are going to be revealed. And I think it's going to be the genesis of a new renaissance.
A renaissance. I was just going to say that. So exciting. Because
a renaissance takes place when truth exposes all the lies.
Yeah. And we won't be wearing wench dresses and eating big turkey legs like at the Renaissance Fair. No. We'll be wearing parkas or maybe shorts and going to Antarctica, because I think there's an Iowa of Antarctica, like in the center.
We talked about
where
that.
There's beautiful green trees and forests and not all covered in snow, and maybe interesting, unique animals. And then beyond that, there could be these lands that might have animals we've never seen before, and maybe people that we don't know yet.
Totally.
Wouldn't that be exciting?
That would be so cool. And it would just be this new time where truth prevails, and it'll be a renaissance of hope and love and joy, because we've kind of been in a dark age for like the last 50 years. Like our life, you and I have lived a very interesting lifespan, where we went from being born into the greatest country that ever existed.
Yeah.
America was so awesome when we were young. And all we've had to do over our lifetime is just watch as it just eroded and deteriorated into Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
No, totally.
So that's been a dark age. We've kind of been in a dark age.
We've been living in the dark ages.
So maybe there's a renaissance on the horizon.
Yeah. Our dog has been in a wheelchair.
Totally.
But it's time to let that puppy out and show the dog that he can run around and play. And that might happen in Antarctica.
I can attest that your dog doesn't have to be in a wheelchair forever.
It doesn't.
You can heal from that.
Sometimes you just need to let your dog get off the wheelchair.
That's it.
And just show your dog the way, because sometimes that's all it takes.
Maybe that's what raising your voice does, is you talk and then people go, you know what, I feel that way too. And just by having them have the courage to start coming out and talking, their dog's not in a wheelchair anymore. Because by self-censoring and just accepting that you're a victim, that's kind of your dog's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, totally. So I think that was a really good, exciting episode.
I love that one.
We might have to follow this up with Greenland #2 at some point when we get more information on this topic.
Yeah, there's more to come on this one for sure.
I think there's more to come. We're going to have to keep our eyes on it.
And I want to do devil's advocate. I know Trump is probably perfect, and he doesn't even ask God for forgiveness because it's just
he's so perfect.
He's like, it's just not me. It's not authentic.
It's not necessary.
I don't need to do it. I don't have to ask for forgiveness. So okay, Trump is perfect, and he's a good guy. He's the dark horse. We all know that and believe that. But what if? Let's do an episode where we just say, has he been in bed with that country from 1948 the whole time? Let's do an episode that way.
That sounds good. Maybe that's our next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think this was fun. And if this topic was interesting to you, share it with a friend.
Please.
Yeah.
Please share us, because the Indian dudes don't want us to catch fire.
The Indian dudes won't let us share.
No.
They won't let anybody hear it unless you're like specifically looking for us. So we appreciate our listeners because we know that they're like actually listening and looking to listen to us. Like you have to actually like, I think, go out of your way or make an effort to find us.
You do,
you know,
and that's why you have to kind of be intentional about sharing us, because the algorithm is not
in our favor.
It's not gonna just go ahead and naturally foist us the way that other algorithms do. So people have to share us, because otherwise we're just kind of like going hello, and we're kind of out by like you ever been out to Edwards Air Force Base?
Yeah.
There's like nothing out there but desert. That's kind of what our show is. Our show is like if we were just yelling at Edwards Air Force Base, and like we might have 3 or 4 people that hear us, but one of those people has to go share us, otherwise no one else is going to hear it.
That's right.
So that's our audience.
All right, thank you.
All right, talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.